Okay, I'm recording. This young monk arrives at a monastery and he's assigned to help the other monks in copying old canvases and laws for the church, by hand, of course. He noticed, however, that the monks are copying from copies. So he asked the old abbot, he said, what if the copy is wrong that we're copying from? The old abbot says, oh, it's correct. And he says, no. And being a youngster, the abbot said, okay. He takes him down into the cellars. Opens up a door, blows the dust away, pulls out one of the manuscripts and starts comparing it to the copy they were copying from. Okay. And they're all looking at it and he's looking at it. And pretty soon the head abbot starts hitting his head against the wall. And then he's, oh my God, they forgot the R. They forgot the R. Of course, the young monk doesn't know what they're talking about. So he says, what's wrong? What's wrong? He says, he's banging his head. He comes up, his head's all bloody. And he says, they forgot the R. The word is celebrate. Oh, you got that. All right, everybody, welcome. Tip of the day. I think I started these last time. I'm going to continue on the 10 iPhone security mistakes you're making and how to fix them. You have a touch ID or a face ID on your device. And that's pretty secure, but you can bypass that. You can say, if you put in the wrong face, it comes up and said, use the passcode. And some of you have a face ID or a fingerprint, and then your touch code is 1111 or something like that, or 7777. And then you enter that. So if someone's looking over your shoulder, they get to see the 777. Even if they're not, they pick up your device, they can get to that screen and put in that very simple passcode. So be sure you make your passcode tough enough.
Bill, can you mute everybody?
I'm going to mute everybody, yes.
There's some feedback going on.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm going to mute everybody. And if you want to speak, unmute yourselves.
Yeah.
Devices. I have 2 devices, but not on Zoom.
And the next tip there, oh, I thought I muted everyone, didn't I?
Not everybody.
Apparently.
I can hear.
Okay. Got him. The second tip there would be guard your lock screen. Whenever you're putting in your passcode, make sure there's not somebody looking over your shoulder. And the third one there is keep messages private. When someone sends you a text message, by default, a preview of the contents of that message pops up on your screen. If you tend to keep your phone out in plain sight, sitting on the table, at dinner or something like that, they will see the first line or so of the text message. To avoid any awkward moments, you can simply change an iPhone setting. If you go to settings, notifications, and messages, and you can toggle off show previews. Okay? So those are the tips for today. Last time we got together, we talked about the beginning of using your device. This is a beginnings course. I'm going to start sharing my screen now. Everybody hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Unmute yourself. Everybody hear me okay? Anybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you.
I can hear you. Good.
Thank you, Bear Call. All right. For that particular tip, we went to settings. Notifications. I think we scroll down to messages.
Mine has a spot where you can go to show previews. That's the second thing down.
That's for everything. And you can go never. Let me see if. But if you scroll down to messages, I'll get there quickly. You can turn it off just for messages. Okay. All right. So we talked about last time what's in your device, your memory, the buttons, how you get on the internet. Then we talked about these icons, apps, an old timer calls them programs. And we talked about how you can move them around by putting your finger in a blank area of your screen and pressing and holding, and they start shaking and you can move them by putting your finger on them and dragging them. You can put one on top of the other if you want to make a folder. And you can change the name of the folder that Apple automatically puts a name on. You could move the item out and then the folder disappears. You can move a particular app onto the next page by putting it on the edge. We talked about the keyboard last time. So if I go to notes, oh, I'm not going to show you that because you could have an external keyboard. Which you can't see. You can't see my keyboard because it's an internal, it's a attached keyboard. By the way, does anybody know who has a keyboard attached how to have the on-screen keyboard show up without detaching your keyboard and hiding it somewhere. Anybody know how to do that? Okay. We talked about the keyboard, the shift key, the numbers keyboard. And the couple ones I wanted to let you know, remind you of is if you press and hold the space bar, your keyboard turns into a trackpad. And you just press and hold the space bar when the keyboard's on the screen. And you can move the cursor around the screen by just holding your finger on the screen after you've pressed and held the space bar. So today we're going to talk about settings. So if I go to my settings, there are a whole lot of settings here. And I'll make a question rhetorical. What's the difference between going to Safari here and going to Safari on your, going to Safari here, for example? The purpose of settings is to change the way a application functions. So if I want to use Safari, I go to its app. If I want to change the way Safari works or some of the internal parts of Safari, I would go to settings. Sometimes we get confused on that. It doesn't take you to the same place by going to the app or going to the settings for the app. So if I look at the settings menu and I look clear at the top, you'll see your name up here at the top. And if you click on that, it takes you to a list of major things about your iPhone and iPad. The first item there is your name, and then it's your Apple ID. So my Apple ID happens to be wtcrow@verizon.net. If I wanted to add a picture, I could click edit. That's what mine says. Yours may say add, I'm not sure. And you tap edit and you can add a picture there. The next item down is name, phone number, and email.
Before you go from that,
Yep, go
Reason.
ahead, please.
What it shows is my Apple ID is an email address that is a cloud address. Is that normally what it is unless you've added something in there?
When you set up your first device, that's what you got, or you gave it to them?
No, I never gave it to them because I've never used it.
I know. So it
So
got
they
set
chose
up.
it.
It got set up automatically at some point.
So if
Okay.
I have to tell them anything about my iPad or my iPhone, I have to use that passcode, right?
Correct.
Or that
You have to use that. You have to use that ID.
Thank you.
For example, if you go to the Apple Store, that's the ID you have to use to get something.
No wonder I have a problem.
That's wonderful. We got one positive. We got something new. So if I click on and there's my name, first, last, and middle. You put it in. Can you change it here? Yep, you could change it here to Ivan Idiot or Maxwell Smart or something. Okay. You're reachable at your Apple ID. There's my Apple or my cell phone number. And I think this is what you were talking about. Here's my iCloud address. Okay. Here's my birthday. And I have the rest of the stuff turned off anyway. I don't have these subscriptions. Password and security. Here's where you would change your Apple password. Whether or not you have two-factor authentication. For those of you who are relatively new, two-factor authentication is a feature that's been added in the last 3 or 4 years that has you do two things to prove you're who you are. For example, if I log on to something with my Apple ID, it may very well send me a text message to this phone number with a code that I would have to enter. And this is a means of double checking who I am. Not only was I logging on to, let's say, the bank, but it also sends a text message or an email, if you gave the bank your email address, to the email address and with a code that you have to enter as a second way of verifying who you say you are. I don't use Apple Pay. Subscriptions, I like this one because it tracks if I set up a subscription in Apple, and I have a few. I have one at Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, and Apple TV, and Apple News. Okay.
Why don't you use Apple Pay?
Oh, I choose not to. When you say Apple Pay, I guess I may use it, Anne, but it gets charged to my Bank America card. I guess I meant there, I don't have an Apple credit card. So when I say I'm paying for one of those subscriptions, in that next page there, it doesn't go to Apple. It uses Apple Pay, but it goes to my Bank of America credit card. The thing I like about subscriptions there is if I click here, I can cancel that subscription. So any subscription that I've set up, it allows me to just cancel it right here.
How do you set up a subscription? For instance,
you
mine
seeing
says
subscription?
Apple One, and
I know.
mine says Active Disney. I don't know why. And the only other thing it says is get Apple One.
Oh, it's been a while since I've done it. Anybody help me out there? For example, I signed up for Paramount Plus this month. And if I'm doing it on one of my Apple devices, it automatically gets added to this list.
Excuse
Why
me,
is it
where-
on there twice?
I made a mistake. And I logged on to it 2 different ways, and you'll see this one expires February 4th. And this is the one that I'm paying the monthly fee on.
Where did you get to subscriptions?
That's what
Like doing
Ann
something else.
asked. And let me try something here. You see, I have the Disney Plus app on my phone. I've already signed up for it, so I can just log in. So I downloaded, in this case, the Disney application. And I said I wanted to sign up for the Disney Plus. So I got the Disney Plus, I think Paramount, Apple TV, all through going to the particular app on my phone or the iPad.
Question is,
Go ahead.
my question is, where do you find the word subscriptions like you have on your screen?
Oh. Right here.
Okay, apparently I don't have any because I don't have the word.
There, yes. You got it.
No, think so. If you touch on your name, you then get to the Apple ID screen. And I have that subscriptions are there, but I have nothing in them because I don't have any subscriptions.
I
That's
don't
it.
even have the word subscriptions.
And you're at the same screen I'm on then. It says Apple
Your
ID.
screen
Here's-
say Apple ID at the top?
Yes,
Huh,
only has name, password, and payment.
interesting.
Could it be an update, Bill?
Leah, what version of the OS do you have?
15.2, as far as I know.
15.2, so. And I'm not sure why it's not there. Maybe, Bill, did you ever set up a subscription and delete it, maybe?
I might have, but I don't think so. But I think I had a free subscription when I bought something that
Okay,
came and then went away.
yep,
I have it on my iPhone, but not on my iPad.
that's interesting.
Not that I'm worried because I don't plan on getting any subscriptions, but I was just curious.
It is. The next
Bill?
the next item down there is called
Bill?
Yes.
Can I add something? I couldn't find it either, but then it said Apple ID with a little blue arrow. And when I clicked on this, then it came all name, phone numbers, password, security, and subscriptions. Is that perhaps, so I missed one. Yes, on yours it says now Apple ID. And I pushed on that and then came the one we are looking for.
And subscriptions
see-
is listed here.
Yeah, the
Huh.
Apple ID there on your, yeah, push on that. See, and then you have the subscriptions. That's what happened to me. There they are.
Yep. But I think Leah's on this screen.
She is.
Only on my phone, but not on my iPad.
Okay,
Try to push on this blue arrow.
I understand. If we go to, it says Apple ID in the center on the top here. If I go to iCloud, this gives me how my iCloud is being used. So it says I have 50 gigabytes, which I'm paying 99 cents a month for. They give you 5 gigabytes for free. And it shows you a little bar graph how much my photos is taking, backups are taking, and et cetera across there. And as you can see, I have a lot of more saving I can do. If your bar is up here somewhere, you'll have to go to manage storage. You can go to manage storage. And you can change your plan. It actually shows me the numbers of how much each category or each application, it shows me how much space each application is using. Okay. Hopefully, now what's the purpose of iCloud? Maybe we should ask that. No, I don't want my stuff in some stupid cloud. Somebody might hack into it and get all my information. Well, Apple's one of the most secure places you could have your information, for one. For two, if all of a sudden my iPad, which is getting kind of dated, stops functioning, all my information is in the cloud. And I know they say iCloud backup, and it's not the traditional backup. It should say iCloud synced, because it synchronizes between the iCloud and your phone, or your iCloud and your iPad, so that if you delete something on your iPhone or iPad, it will delete it from the cloud. Many people think I have photos in the cloud because that's on here. So I can delete photos on my device. If you delete them on your device, it will delete them from the cloud. Suppose my iPad fails, can't even power it up. I go to the App Store or Apple Store, I purchase a new iPad. As a feature, when you're starting to use your iPad, they ask you, do you have an Apple ID and password? Yes. Right, you put that information in and it asks you then, would you like to get all the information that was on your old iPad on your new iPad? Now I have a lot of information on my current iPad. I have over 300 apps and 2,000 pictures and a bunch of videos and about 500 songs. So I would like to get that same thing on my new iPad. And if you answer yes, I would like to do that, Apple will start loading your old iPad, your new iPad, with the information that was on your old iPad. And it will take a while. But about a day later, all of your apps, all your music, all your photos, your new iPad will look almost identical to the old one. Okay. So it says here, I'm going to put my pictures in the iCloud. Now, Apple added a new feature. So everybody go to Settings, tap your name at the top, tap iCloud, and then go to Photos. And hopefully everybody has that on. Go ahead.
Yes, on the phone, I do have the word on. However, on the iPad, when I got to that point, under storage, it says the amount it is. How do I get out of the storage to get to where you are?
It says what?
When I click the iCloud and I have iCloud storage at the top, not just iCloud, it has the amount change storage plan, and then it gives all the amounts. Do I click the iPad again to go back
No,
to
you
just,
you have to go back one more. You went here,
never mind, I got it.
you got it?
Yes, but on the phone, on my iPhone, my iCloud backup is off. And I didn't
Yeah.
touch it.
You should turn it on.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to photos. And one of the features, well, let me back up. Many of us are finding that our photos are taking a lot of space on our devices. Each photo takes between 1 and 2 million bytes. Same space as a book takes is what each photo takes. And our phones tend to fill up, especially when you can get 64 or 128 gigabytes. And the major thing that they fill up with is your photos. So Apple figured out, gee, if you're hooked to the iCloud, your original picture is in the cloud. Why do you have to keep all those photos in the original form on your device? They provided this, what they call optimized iPad storage. If you click that, what it will do is reduce the amount of space each picture takes on your iPhone or iPad by about 90%. So a picture that used to take 1 million bytes now takes 100,000 bytes. And then somebody says, well, so, okay, I'm glad to do that. Is there any downsides? Downside. The downside is the picture appears as a small little square. It looks fine. It's called a thumbnail. Let me go to my photos here. Now, don't you go here. I'm just going to show you. So each one of these pictures is called a thumbnail. When I upload them to the cloud and I say optimize, okay, the picture, when I first go to it, and I don't know if I've been to this one recently, but when I first go to it, it looks grainy. And did you see it get brighter there? Maybe not. But it looks grainy to start with, and then it goes to the iCloud, gets the original picture, brings it down, and shows it to you in its full glory. Okay? And it happens really quickly. So you really can't tell that there's anything. Unfortunately, these pictures aren't that good to start with. So let me go to a different album. Yeah, same thing. And the picture looks fine now. But that's because it got the full version down from the iCloud. Okay? So my first recommendation to everyone who has space problems, in other words, your iPad, not your iPad or your iPhone, not the iCloud, but your iPad or your iPhone is almost full, and we'll cover that in a little while, how you can find that out. Okay? That you go to Photos and you optimize your storage. The next item down in settings is iCloud backup, and that's on. That should be on for everybody. And you have it turned on, and mine was last backed up on 118 at 10:56 a.m. So a few days ago. I haven't used the iPad much. You can click backup now, and it will do that. Okay, understanding that it will occupy some of your Wi-Fi capability. Keychain is your passwords. Every time you log on to Safari and put in a username and password, Keychain records it. And we'll show you where you can find that out as well. And the rest of this, I have everything turned on. Okay. Now, if, for example, it says here, I'll pick on an app. It says pill monitor. I have that turned on. It doesn't save the actual application. It saves the fact that I have that application on my device. It also saves any data associated on it, any settings you might have put in. When you get a download, like you got a brand new iPad and you got downloaded from the iCloud, it goes to the app and loads it from the App Store because you've purchased it before. And then it adds to it whatever settings and data you might have put with it when you were using the app. Any questions on that? You're awful quiet today.
Hey, Bill,
Good. Yes.
can you explain private relay?
That was my question also.
Private what?
Relay, it's right after keychain.
It says private relay and in brackets beta.
It's only on the phone, Bill.
Oh,
No, it's on the iPad too. I have it.
No, I have it on my iPad.
that's
Okay.
because, okay, you have 15.2?
Point one.
I have no idea what it is. What is private relay hides
It says
your
when I click,
IP address and browsing activity in Safari and protects your encrypted internet traffic so that no one, including Apple, can see both.
It's like a VPN.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dave.
So is that something?
Wait a
I
minute,
want-
wait a minute. What's a VPN?
Right.
Hey, Dave, you want to make a shot at that one?
Well, VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. And what it does is it tricks the internet into thinking that you're someplace other than where you are. For example, I want to watch a football game that's not broadcast locally, but it's broadcast in London, England. I can turn on my virtual private network and it masks the IP address of your internet account so that it thinks I'm in Germany or London or wherever in the world I want to make them think I am. So it's a privacy issue and it's a security issue. Do most people need a VPN? No.
It does affect slightly the internet speed, but most of us wouldn't detect that.
So is that something we want to continue to leave off or on?
I'm going to turn it on just for fun, see what it does.
Well, it's a beta, Bill. Understand it says It's in beta right now, the private relay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's included with iCloud at 99 cents a month.
Now, look, I've turned it on. Tells me about it here.
And you get the word upgrade.
And then
beside it.
you see where it says IP address, to continue with what Dave was saying. See where it says IP address on my phone?
Right.
I select that and it says use a country or zone, right? You can keep using your general IP address location so that the website you provide local content to Safari, or you can choose to use broader IP address locations. And I don't see a place where you can set the one you want. But see, now it's lying to the world. It doesn't tell them exactly where I am.
How will that affect your, when you want to put on your map and get to your house?
Oh, that's okay. That's
Okay.
location services.
If you turned it on because you were following Bill Crow, how do you turn it off?
Same way. You go to settings. iCloud, private, and turn it off.
Now, should we keep it on or off?
Only goes to upgrade.
Right, that's all mine does too.
My own personal opinion is I would not turn it on yet because it is still a beta product. It's still in testing. They're even saying that there are issues with it. Personally, I wouldn't do it.
Well, I don't know who you can reach on the weekend. That's,
Hold on, somebody's got their speaker on, or microphone on.
why would, that's what the that's what the apartment complex is.
Marie Black,
For extra. And
Marie
then-
Beck.
Okay. Were you able to turn it off, everybody, or not?
Mine just says upgrade
Yes.
and I can't get it off.
So when you turned it on,
Well, I just opened it. And then that, you know, the advertisement for the privacy IP comes on. And then when I go back, it just says upgrade and I can't get off of that. So what does that mean? It's automatically gonna upgrade sometime.
I don't know where you are.
I'm on private relay
Okay, and is it green or?
and then instead of on or off, it says upgrade.
Leave it alone.
And I'm just gonna leave it there. There's nothing else I know what to do. I can do.
Interesting.
You hit upgrade, and it gives you a screen that
The
gives
same,
you
yeah.
an option to subscribe to iCloud or see other plans or turn it off.
Oh, you haven't got iCloud turned on?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
It's iCloud Plus that you're paying this extra
Yeah,
money for.
That's what they're trying to do, is to sell you this for 99 cents.
I
But
got
I'm
you.
just saying, I can't get it off the upgrade, but it probably doesn't mean anything, right? As long as I don't subscribe.
Hey, Bill, what do
Yes,
you think of NordVPN?
You already talked to the county.
if you're going to use a VPN, it's a good one.
It's just very confusing.
I use Surfshark. Find it very easy.
Thank you.
Well, my guess is she doesn't work on weekends, so she's not answering her phone or whatever on the weekend.
And stay away from the free ones. You do not want a free VPN.
Why?
Because they may only have one server or a handful of servers. They're going to be incredibly slow.
I don't know, you have, it's gonna be the county that has
Bill Marie back.
them get it repaired and working. And
Okay. We're still on iCloud.
Where?
We've turned on most of the indicators.
Bill, do you have one that says hide my email?
Yes,
Okay.
Do you use that?
I don't use Apple email. So it doesn't matter.
When you say I don't use Apple email, you confuse me. Do
You
I
have-
use Apple
You have
email?
to subscribe to iCloud Plus to use that feature.
Oh, you don't have it, Dave?
No, it says if you want it, you have to subscribe to iCloud Plus. It's like part of their VPN.
Interesting. Okay. I need to move on. Let's go. If I click back to where it says Apple ID at the top. And I want to skip down here to where the devices are listed. Okay, you should have on there the various devices that you own.
I'm impressed.
I've got two iPads. I've got an iPad, an iPhone there, and an iPhone down here. I've got my watch there. I've got my TV. I've got my wife's stuff there. So there's a lot of interesting little items there. Okay.
Not for me.
All right.
Bill, you mentioned your TV. What do you mean you have your TV there?
I've connected my, what have I connected? Oh, I've connected my iPad to the TV occasionally to show movies that were on my iPad on my big screen.
It looks like it's going to show any device that's connected to your Wi-Fi network. I mean, it's showing on mine, it's showing my Roku devices, my Xbox, my computers, my TVs. If it's connected to Wi-Fi, it's going to show up on this list.
Doesn't show printers though, but that's okay.
I'm okay seeing.
All
I
right,
have,
go ahead.
all right, I have 3 Roku devices and it only shows 2.
I don't. Have you logged on to all 3?
Of course.
Are all 3 hooked to your Wi-Fi network?
Yep,
I'm not sure why then.
it's an Apple glitch.
What I'm curious about is why do I have my PC on there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times? I only have one. So anyway,
Did you-
airplane mode, back to new stuff. So if you're on your iPhone and you were on settings, and it says settings in the upper left-hand corner here, you click that to go back to settings or tap it. And the first item in the list of stuff that's in settings is airplane mode. If you turn on airplane mode, it's supposed to be safe to to use your device on an airplane because it's not communicating outside of itself.
Should you have a 5G phone like they're talking about now? Will that work for that?
Yes.
Because
It
not
will
that I
turn-
do.
It will turn off 5G. What I'm curious about, and I'll show you what I mean. Look at my iPhone there. See it? Let me get the right. This is my iPhone. And when I turn this on, I always felt these bars represent cellular connection. This little fan represents Wi-Fi connection. Okay, so if I turn this on, I would think both of those should disappear. And only one of them disappears, and I'm not sure why. But you see the airplane show up on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm no longer communicating through 5G, 4G, LTE, or whatever way you are connected to the cell phone towers.
Don't you need Wi-Fi even on an airplane?
You. Let's see how to answer that question. Many of the current airplanes have a Wi-Fi network within them. But yeah, the Wi-Fi, you have to be within 50 or 60 feet of the particular network you're connected to. So yeah, Wi-Fi would not work on an airplane normally. Okay,
It does on JetBlue. They have their own Wi-Fi.
correct. That's what I said, because the actual router is within 100 feet of where you're seated.
Right,
And it's unsecure.
right.
Of course. Then you have Wi-Fi, Frontier. If you tap that,
Yes.
you'll get a list of Wi-Fi networks that are close to you. Or routers that are close to you. And it's always curious to me. I take my phone and I walk around the neighborhood. And these items down here and this one up here change as I walk around the neighborhood. When I get 100 feet away from my house, this one drops off. And I see all these other ones down here listed. And if I come across one that looks like this and not like this, I can stand there and get on their Wi-Fi network. The little lock means it's secured. Okay? Any questions there?
Kannst du mich hören? Ja, du, ich bin gerade bei.
Okay. Next item down is Bluetooth. Bluetooth is a way to communicate with a device that's within about 10 or 20 feet of where you are. Different set of antennas, different radio frequencies. And if I click on Bluetooth, here's the list of things that I have connected to in the past. Okay.
Anson's AirPod Pro.
Yeah, that's mine.
You sure you didn't find them someplace, did you?
They're right here. They're with me somewhere. Okay.
Bill, what if you don't have that many? Like me, I have that my Apple Watch is connected, but NB Bluetooth is not, and I-12 is not connected.
Hold on. Look at all the ones on my phone. These are devices you have connected to in the past. in some way. For example, what do I got here? The M70 is the mouse. This is a speaker. One of these is my scales. It actually talks to my scales. So when I get on, it records my weight.
Glad I don't have that.
Right? What else do I got here? There's my TV, my AirPods, and my pencil, and my wireless keyboard. If I turn this off, my mouse will no longer be connected. Okay? Let's talk about notifications. Notifications are the things that come down from the top of the screen like this. These are my notifications this morning, last night, or my iPad. If I put my finger on the top left portion of my screen and pull down, it gives me my list of notifications. Notifications are little tidbits of information generated by various applications that I have. So if I go to settings for notifications, I can control what apps give me notifications. Okay? And when it gives me notifications. So if everybody went to notifications, my iPad there says scheduled summary. I would get a summary of my notifications at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. And I can set that up on the next screen. But let me diverge from that for a moment and just show you in general how you set up notifications. For each application that can generate a notification, it appears on this list. And you can control, for example, my books I have turned off.
You activate your mouse?
Say again?
Can you activate your mouse so we can see where you are?
Yes. Sorry. That one?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Because I was pointing to it with my finger.
Sorry.
I couldn't see that, huh? Right, we're sitting here with books and it says it's turned off, so I'm not going to get any notifications from the Books app. But the Atlantic Hurricane Tracker applications, I say I want to get them immediately. Right? And how do I control that? So let's pick that one, for example. And there's a little arrow, and I click on it. And I say I can get them right away. Can I get both? Nope, I either get right away or I get them when I get the summary. Okay. And I can say, I don't want to get any notifications from this app by clicking the little thing at the top. See, now I will not get any notifications from the Hurricane app. Now, if I scroll down a little bit, what kind of alerts can I get? I can get alerts, right? I can get them to show up on the lock screen. I want them to show up as part of the notification center when I get that. The notification center is what you see when you pull down from the upper left-hand corner of the screen. I put my finger up here and pull down. Okay.
Okay.
And thirdly, I can have, when I get a notification, when I'm getting them immediately, it can show up as a banner at the top of the screen. And that banner can be of one of two types. It can show up and stay there until I sweep it out of the way. That's called persistent. It can show up and disappear, I always say, before I have a chance to read it, right? And it's called temporary. So if I make it temporary, it will show up at the top of the screen, no matter what screen I'm on. And then if I'm quick, I can see and read it, and then it will automatically disappear. I prefer persistent because my phone or my iPad is in my pocket or not handy to me, so I'm not looking at it directly all the time. When it shows up, it will show up making a sound. And the thing I like, it says badges. Oftentimes I'm asked, what is a badge? A badge is the icon for the app. I'll go to my phone. For example, if I get a notification from news, it would have this as a badge. It's an easy way to tell the source of where the notification is coming from. Okay. And if I get multiple applications from the same, multiple notification from the same application, it will group them together. Let's see if I have any grouped here. See the weather app right here? It has it. If I click on it or tap on it, it shows me I have 2 notifications from the weather app. Popular mechanics, from news. I got a bunch of apps. I've got all these notifications. Okay.
You can tell that by the little shadow underneath.
Exactly. Okay. The X gets rid of them, clears them. Okay. So what you have here is a complete list of all those notifications. What I would like each of you to do for the next minute or 5 is to go through and change so they're either on or off, right? And set them the way you would like to work for 8 or 10 of them. So you get the idea there. Each one of them has the same set of notification types they can give you. So from Amazon, I have it turned on. I get them immediately. Shows up in the notification center, not on the lock screen, and I get a banner and it's persistent, makes a sound and shows a badge. Okay. So give that a try. And I'll set the timer for 5 minutes. Set timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes, counting down.
Hmm. Okay.
Anybody have any questions?
I have one, Bill,
Go ahead.
on messages. I don't get the sound that, and I've got it on, but I don't get the sound when I have a message. And I have it on. I don't know. When I get a message, I can't tell because it doesn't ding me.
Doesn't make a sound.
It doesn't make a sound.
What's it say when you would?
It says that I have a sound called circles that's on.
What's circles sound like? That's probably why.
Oh, no, I do hear that occasionally.
Right. Circle sound is really light.
Yeah.
What you need to do is set it like this, Ann.
Yeah.
What one is that?
I'll get to that in a minute. Oh, I better change that here. Hold on.
Try xylophone.
Yeah, circles is a really light one.
Try xylophone.
Say it again, Bart Bearbo.
Try xylophone or xylophone. How do you pronounce it?
Xylophone. Xylophone.
Yeah, on the next one.
Classics, you mean?
No, xylophone.
Okay. Starts with a Z or X.
X.
We're down here.
Xylophone.
Xylophone.
I
Okay.
don't see it.
I don't have it.
Oh, down
Yeah,
here, yeah.
on the button. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Mhm.
Where did you get that?
Oh, shit. We're going to talk about sounds in a minute. But now I gotta change that.
Let me get that. Oh, sounds nice.
Okay. All right. Let's move on from messages to something called sounds. See where it says sounds there in your settings? First of all, there's a nice, if you have earphones in, they will reduce whatever sounds being made to equal to or less than 85 decibels. It's a nice feature to keep you from going deaf when you put in earphones. And this was an interesting one down here. This group, it says ring and alerts, and I have it turned clear up. But it says change with buttons. On both your iPhone and your iPad. Just a minute, I'll be right back. It says change with buttons. And if you have that turned on, you can adjust the volume of sounds, the volume that sounds make on your iPad or iPhone by just, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to click on volume up and volume down. I'm going to click volume down first. You see how I'm reducing it?
Yes.
On the other hand, if I turn this button off, whatever level I set right now is fixed and I can't adjust it when I'm somewhere else on the iPad.
Say that again, please.
Yep. I set the volume level here I want. Okay. If I go and turn this off and I go somewhere else on my iPad and I start getting that sound, I cannot adjust it. So if I got a notification and it started making that someone's calling song or maybe making T-Rex sound, I can't adjust it by using the volume up and volume down buttons on the side of your iPhone or iPad.
So it's good to have it on.
I always have it on so I can adjust it. Okay. There are a bunch of fixed
Mike,
sound.
Before we go from that little button, my iPhone does not have that ability on it.
Yes, it does. It's right here.
Not on the one I'm holding.
Does it say sounds and haptics are here at the top?
It just
Just
sounds
says sounds.
It says sounds.
on the iPad.
I'm on the iPhone now.
She's on the iPad, I think.
On both of mine, it says just sounds, but on the iPad, I can adjust it. iPad, I can adjust it. On the iPhone, there are no bars for adjusting sound. Nothing for adjusting.
Does it say sounds and haptics at the top or just sounds at the top?
It says just sounds.
And you're talking about your iPhone, right?
Yes, sir.
It says vibrate to on ring, vibrate on silence. To start with? No or yes?
I've lost it.
No, you didn't.
So why do you like vibrate on ring?
I hit when I hit on the settings menu, I have sounds and haptics.
Oh, hold on now. I gotta,
When I hit on the iPad, hit sounds, I just get the word sounds, but I
right,
can't adjust it. On the phone, I have to hit sounds and haptics to be able to adjust it.
correct. On the iPad, you don't have haptics.
Right.
Haptics is a vibration. Now, the various ringtone is for when somebody makes a phone call or FaceTime call. Text tone is when somebody sends you a text, get new mail, send mail, when you get an alert from your calendar, when you get alert from your reminders, when you get an airdrop. So there's these different fixed sounds. If I go into one of them, like text tone here, I have a whole big list of things I can do. Now let me explain a couple things, and then I'll explain some more things. But at the end of, there's two lists there, alert tones and ringtones. Okay. If I click classic at the end of my list here, let me back up a minute. These are the ones they've added recently. If I click classic on the bottom there, there's some more. And I usually tell this joke at this time. You can set up. We go to ringtones. You can set up any one of these, some for an individual. So I can go into settings and say, if my wife calls me, this is the sound it will make. It can be a unique sound just for her.
Yeah.
What she did was she got on the phone and she said, I'm going to set up one for my husband. And she picked this one. Okay. So I went on and I changed her sound to this one. Actually, I made it this one, but that's okay. All right. So these are ringtones. And down here are some more. They're alerts. And I don't know, you can use alerts or ringtones for either one. And it also has classic stuff. Okay. For those of you who are really interested, you can go to the top here and download. Oh, you can go to the Tone store.
Okay.
That's where I got the T-Rex and Someone's Calling. Okay, and they charge you for those. Harry Potter's there.
Bill,
Yes.
here's my favorite ringtone.
Yeah, there you go.
It's the life. It's the life.
So there's one. But you get the idea, everyone. So that's sounds. Any question about sounds?
Yes, Bill, I'm trying for WhatsApp to get an alert or a sound as soon as I get one, but I don't know how to do that. I've tried and tried, but do you have an idea how to do that?
What Snaps app is not?
WhatsApp,
I know,
WhatsApp,
I know.
yeah.
If you go to notifications and you find
Yes.
WhatsApp. I don't happen to have WhatsApp on my iPad.
Yes, you should go to the phone.
Right. And they have sounds there. And I'm not sure what sound it picks.
Some of them tell you what you can get and what you can't.
I know. If you go to settings in WhatsApp, what happens?
We're at settings. Doo-dee-doo.
Bill, did you notice that the wallet app is one of the notification options?
Say that again, please.
If you look at your list of notifications, it's showing the wallet app,
Yeah,
Wallet app.
but I don't know how to get to the wallet app.
on your iPad or iPhone.
iPad.
Okay. If you have the wallet app on your device, you should be able to go find it. So Dave's given me an opportunity to show you another feature here. If you're wondering if you have an application, there's two ways to get the entire list of, there's one way to get the entire list of applications you have. If you put your finger anywhere on your device and you start sweeping from right to left, and you'll notice I've gone through all three home pages that I have, but I'm going to go one more page. And it comes up with something called the app library. And if I click or tap where it says app library here at the top, gives me an alphabetized listing that I could go through, or I could just type in WA. And I don't have the wallet app on my iPad. But those are the different apps I have: Wall Street Journal, Wallpaper Pro, and Walgreens, even though I tapped one L.
Yeah, but Bill, but under your notification, when you had your list of notification apps, wallet showed up there.
I have no idea why.
Okay.
You're saying wallets on this list, but it's on the iPad, iPhone, or iPad?
No, you had it, it was listed on your iPad as one of your notification options.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to get a notification from it, I guess, which is okay. Okay, I want to move to, we went to sounds, and I'm going to go to general. If it doesn't fit in any of the other categories, they put it in general. And the first one in general is about. Okay. Now, if yours says Patty's iPhone 2 or something like that up here at the top, you're in good shape. You should make, if it just says iPad or iPhone 2 or iPhone Air up here at the top, the first line, you probably should change that so it has your name associated with it. Okay, and you can do that by hitting the little arrow there. A little arrow pointing to the right brings you to another menu, always. And when you tap it, you'll always get a way to get back. At the top, by hitting the arrow pointing to the left. So right now mine says Bill's AirPad Air 2. If I click the X here, it grays out the iPad Air, Bill's iPad Air 2, and I can put some other text in there. You should take the opportunity now to go ahead and put in at least your name. And when you're done, press enter and it takes you back to general.
Is there a possibility that when you got the iPad and it activated, they put Apple put something in there, like the Lear's My Name iPad?
Nope. Did
I
you
mean, I had
download-
to do it.
You had to do it at some point.
Thank you.
They would just put iPhone or iPad there. Or maybe iPad Air 2. Second item down there is the software version you currently have. And you'll notice my iPhone says 15.2.1, my iPad says 15.2. While the operating systems are not the same any longer, they are kind of keeping pace with each other. And I think software version 15.2 is not the most recent one.
Oh, it's 15.2.1.
That's correct. So if I go to here and iCloud and well, sorry about that. If I go, I'm still in general. And I type software update, it says, oh, there's a 15.2.1. That was on my iPad. And I went to general and software update. And I can click download and install, which will download and then install it. I don't recommend doing it right now, though. And if you have automatic updates turned on, it will, if you plug in your device and just close the cover, don't turn it off, as we talked about last week. It will automatically download and update if you have both these on. Now, will it do it tomorrow night or the next night? Perhaps not, but at some point in the future it will. Apple can't update everybody at once. So it may not get to you tonight or tomorrow night, but it will. Okay.
I'm not sure how fast it is. Mine says 15.1.
Okay. So you have to Don't power down your device. Plug it in and just leave it that way overnight.
I do that every night and I'm still way behind you guys.
Whoa.
Same problem.
Then at the end of our phone call, well, does it say automatic updates on, Ann?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Then I would, at the end of our meeting today, click download and install at the bottom.
Good idea. Good idea.
You're living way out at the end of the line, must be. I'm kidding, but some other items that are nice to see here are things like how many songs you have, how many videos, how many pictures, how many applications. The really important one on this general and about screen is the capacity. I have 64 gigabyte capacity. And the most important thing there is available. If I get below 5 for this number, I'm going to have to go and do some house cleaning or get a new iPad. Okay, with more storage capability. You'll notice on my iPhone, which I got last year, it has 128 gigabytes of capacity, and I have about half of it left. Okay. Any questions about all that? Let's go back to general. It says AirDrop there. AirDrop is a nice way to share information with people that are near you. Now, I can't AirDrop to you folks because we're not in the same room. It's usually AirDropping is the same is with people that were within maybe 20 or 30 feet of you. And so I recommend you turn it on for everyone so that the next time you're at a party and you want to share some pictures quickly, you do it using the app called AirDrop or the feature called AirDrop.
Bill, I stood next to someone at the Y the other morning and he was airdropping a picture to me and I never got it, even though I had this on. And I never got it, even though I have everyone on.
Did he have everyone on?
Good question. I didn't ask. Good question.
You know, if he tried to AirDrop it and didn't see your name, he's AirDropping a picture, it should show up on your screen and then you have to accept it. And I'm not sure, but you may have to accept and then save it, but.
Oh, where do you mean it shows up? The picture shows up immediately?
Yes.
Interesting.
I want to skip down to where it says iPad storage. It's a really nice feature because, and I'll do the iPhone storage as well. It shows you which apps you have and how much storage they're taking. And you can see on both my devices, it's music that's occupying the majority of the space. Then messages. Oh, I thought I cleaned up message. Anyway. Then books, and then photos, Okay. And you can go down through and say, gee, there's GarageBand and it's taken all this space. If you tap the arrow, you can delete that particular app.
Referring to the app at the on directly across from the word.
Yes. So if I go down here to, let me go down here, one I don't use anymore. Pillow. I click the arrow. I delete. Okay,
Thank you.
so now it's gone. Now I can go back to the App Store. Type in pillow. You see where it says? See the little arrow here? It indicates that I have downloaded it before and I deleted it from my device. So I click the cloud and it will reload it onto my device. Okay?
What if it's an app that you paid for?
It will say, it will still will have that, if whether or not you paid for, that little cloud will show up. And it doesn't cost anything unless it's a subscription. That's a little different situation.
Bill, it doesn't go alphabetically. Is it that you go with what you last used?
When you're looking at iPad storage,
Yes.
it's listing by how much space it's using, not alphabetically.
Oh. And if you want to eliminate one, just click on it and delete it.
If you want to get rid of one, let me go down, see if I can find another one. I haven't used Skype in years. So if I click the little arrow,
Yeah,
it says delete.
delete app. Okay.
If I click offload, it will delete the app, but keep the data associated with it, which in my case is 200K. The size of the app is 128. I'm going to get rid of both. Do I want to do that? No, I'm going to offload the app. The data it's keeping there is the people I have Skyped with in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to offload the app. Okay. That was pretty
How do you
cool.
get the information that you did that? You have to reinstall the app?
Yes.
That came up when you did that.
Yeah. And I'll bet Skype's down here, way down now. Now, if you want the list of the apps you have in alphabetical order, there's a place to go to get that as well. Wow. If I wanted to see the apps in alphabetical order, I'd go here, and here's my apps in alphabetical order. But I don't think Skype is there any longer. Maybe. Yeah. And it says you haven't deleted, you have the data for it, and you can click on the cloud here and get it back. That's pretty cool. Here's an interesting feature. I'm back at general and settings. Settings, general. It says background app refresh. And I don't do background app refresh. What
Why
that
not?
what that means is every once in a while, if the app is on your device, it will go to the cloud and download information. And the problem with that is it uses battery life. Want to preserve your battery life, you turn that feature off. For example, I will not get new email right now. Well, let's not use that. There's a separate setting for mail. I wouldn't get any notifications from these guys. I'm not going to get an update from any of them until I open the app.
All those notifications that you made a particular position you wanted and sound you wanted, you would not get any notification if you had that on?
I am not sure of that. And that's a good question, Leah. It says allow apps to refresh their content when Wi-Fi is on in the background. Turning off apps may help preserve your battery life. And therefore, if I have an app called whatever, let me go down, is mail in this list? Because I'm going to cover mail in a minute. Yeah, mail is not in this list. And we'll cover mail another time, I think, but we'll see.
It's in my list.
It is? Okay.
But it's under Gmail.
Right. If I scroll down here to where it says, let me make sure. Yes. Mail has an interesting thing. If you're not using the Mail app and it's not on,
I'm not sure I understand.
are you getting your mail updates? Well, many of us say yes, because it comes down and gives me a little red circle with a 2, a 4, a 6, or some number that says you've gotten some mail you haven't read yet. Well, that means the Mail app is either requesting every once in a while, it goes and says, hey, do you have any new mail for me? Or the mail provider, when it gets a new mail, it automatically sends it to you. It's called a push. A fetch is when you would say, hey, every once in a while, I want to get new mail, even though I'm not using the app. Both of those features use extra ergs of battery life. So to preserve your battery, there's a way to prevent that from happening. if you go to settings and mail, and then you click on accounts. And you'll notice I have a bunch of email accounts, but under them all, it says fetch new data, and I have it turned off. Okay. And therefore, I'm not going to go to the host and get new data. Is new data automatically pushed to me? I turn that off as well. Okay. And for all my accounts, I have it set to manual. So what happens for me, I don't see that I got new mail. I don't get a notification or anything until I open the mail app. And then I see if I got new mail. And I do that to preserve battery life. Okay.
And the application called Messengers.
No, I'm in mail, not messenger.
I know you are, but I want to ask a question about it. In that
Messenger.
last, okay, I have the application you were looking at.
Say again. Say again.
I have the application that we were looking at, the background app refresh, and it's turned off on my iPad and my phone.
Okay.
And it has Messenger in one of the list of apps that I have.
Yes.
And yet I get notifications that I have messages from my family on Messenger.
And you're talking about Messenger, and it's one of the ones in this list?
That is correct.
Let's see, Messenger.
It's blue, red.
Yeah, I see it.
You can tap on it to see what it.
Is it running in the background?
I don't know.
That's a good one for me to cover right now. If you've been using your iPad or iPhone for a while, last 3 days, and haven't done what I'm going to explain now, there are apps running in the background. And what I mean by that, I'll explain in terms of a PC or a Mac. When you open a particular program or application in your Mac or your PC, and you're done with it, you usually click a red X. You can minimize it. If you minimize it, it's still running and it shows up on the bar at the bottom of the screen as running in the background. Your Apple devices don't have a red X. And therefore, every application you started may still be running in the background if you haven't done what I'm going to show you in the next step. If you have an iPad or iPhone with a home button, tap it twice quickly. And I'm going to do that on my iPad, 1, 2. And it comes up with a screen that looks similar to that. In an iPhone, they may be overlapped. On the iPhone with no, or iPad with no home button, and I need to show you this. You put your finger on this line, you move it up to the center of the screen and stop. And then lift your finger. So I'm going to do that. And you see what happened? I've got all these apps that are open. On my iPad, there's not that many. I've cleaned it a couple of times recently. So if, for example, messages is running here, it's going to get new messages. If, on the other hand, I put my finger here and push up, straight up. It's hard to do with the mouse. I'm going to put my finger right where the button is there and push up. Okay, you flick up. You should do this once every couple of days. The same on the iPhone. Okay. So now I've cleaned up all my apps that were running in the background. At this point, I don't think you will get messages or anything from Messenger,
But I do.
even though you flicked them out of the way.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know why then.
Same thing on the iPad.
So you didn't have them running and you still get them?
Yes.
That's interesting. Okay. That's not, I didn't think that was supposed to happen. Whoa. Okay. I think I understand what you mean because I do get some from these different messaging programs and I have not had them running. So it may be a little different process. It may accept pushes from the messaging programs. Okay, you may be exactly right.
Messenger is a Facebook program, so it may be something in a setting in Facebook.
It shouldn't.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I know it's. We'll have to research that a little bit for next time.
But personally, I would rather it not stop doing that because I have interesting running conversations with my family.
I understand, and I agree with you. I agree with you.
Messages does much the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. And I take it back. When I don't have messages running, I do get a little red dot there.
Yes. Usually it tells me how many messages I have.
Yeah, yeah. Smith climbs to the top of Mount Sinai to get closer to God. He wanted to talk to him. Looking up when he's at the top, he asked the Lord, God, what does 1,000,000 years mean to you? Think about that. What does 1,000,000 years mean to God? The Lord replies, a minute. Smith asks, well, what does $1,000,000 mean to you? The Lord replies, a penny. So Smith, being a very bright person, says, can I have a penny? The Lord replies and said, in a minute. All right.
That's a good one.
All right, everybody. What are we doing?
Bill,
Yes, go ahead. Somebody had a question? No? Okay.
Someone said, well, put that on.
I got to look and see what we have on store for next time. I want to cover a few more settings next time. And hopefully, I don't want you to remember everything we covered today.
That won't be a problem.
But I just want you to remember, you can get into settings and go and figure out what's going on and make a change. Don't make too many changes at once. and see how that affects you. The reason I say don't make too many changes at once. Because if something's screwy happens on your system, you may want to go back and reverse it. So only make a few changes at a given time. We're going to talk about the rest of settings and then email next time. Any questions from anyone? No questions?
I just want to say, I got that 15 update, but not the 2. And all of a sudden I couldn't use Safari. My Safari, when I tap on a link, it wouldn't go. So finally I just went to DuckDuckGo and it does fine. So I should have done that anyway.
Safari did get changed. And let me bring up Safari and show you how it got changed, okay?
Okay. Because I went online and there was a blog about one back, I don't know how many years ago, 9.2 or something like that. And they were
Yeah.
having the same problem.
What they did was they changed a bit of Safari there. They put the search bar at the bottom of the screen. And I don't like it there.
I can't find it.
A few sessions back, you said we could change it back up to the top.
That's what I'm doing, showing you.
Okay,
If you go to Safari,
yeah.
okay, and here's the controls for Safari. You'll notice my search engine here is DuckDuckGo. But I said compact taskbar. Whoops. Where is it?
Okay.
Where is it? Here. Oh. Is it at the top here? No. So I just made it separate tabs bar. Is that going to be at the top or the bottom now?
We go separate.
Let me go back to Safari. Oh, it's on the iPad. It's on the, I'm sorry. I was thinking the iPhone. And you go to Safari.
No, mine's on my iPad. That's my
I
turn.
know. But you see how they put the tabs bar at the bottom and the top? And I prefer mine on the top on the iPhone. Now, you were talking about the iPad and what's it doing?
Now, what are we doing here?
What's your iPad doing?
What are you doing? Yeah. We want to know what you're doing with the iPad.
No, I have it back to where it was and I can just go to, I can go to Google here. And now I'm on Google. That's what mine looks like. Now, you said you had a problem with the iPad. It wasn't doing something correctly?
Well, like I get an email and it send me a link. and it would click on and you could see the page you're supposed to be on, and then it would go to another page of all this written stuff that you couldn't get off of. And I did it on several different things, and I
Huh.
could never open anything up from,
So it went to Safari, but then it did something else strange.
yeah. I
Okay.
can send you something to show you. It's just weird.
Yeah,
And
why don't you do that?
Yeah.
I'll play with it.
I'm just surprised. I've got, like I said, I've got DuckDuckGo, which is fine, but I just thought, well, gee, that's weird.
I
that I
understand.
can't get it. Yeah.
When you say you got DuckDuckGo, you're using
I have it as
DuckDuckGo.
a browser. I put it as my browser.
You put it as your browser. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, because otherwise it wouldn't work.
I understand.
Yeah. At least I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions, folks? I realize settings can be boring. But Leah's saying, no, it's not. Okay.
Keeps you on your toes, that's for sure.
The key thing to keep in mind is when you need to figure out something that's not happening correctly, either you power down and power back up, or you go into settings. See what's going on. Okay. See you next week.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Have a great
Thank you.
week. Hope it warms up a little bit.
Yes.
Gone up at least 3 degrees since you started talking.
Just to make you feel warm. It's
Well, that's all the
minus,
brain power in your room, man.
just to make y'all feel warm. This morning, where my daughter lives in Pennsylvania in the Allegheny National Forest, it was -3.
Oh,
I have camped out in the Allegheny National Forest.
Again,
I have camped out in the Allegheny National Forest.
that's where they live, and it was
Yeah.
-3 this morning. The creek outside there, the creek behind their house was frozen.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Isn't it called a creek up there? It's not a creek, it's a creek.
Well, she's from Florida. She calls it a creek.
Okay. All right. Take care, everybody. See you next
thank you.
time.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.